In the almost 3 decades that the WNBA has been in existence, I, as well as many others, have tuned in for the first time to watch this season, and that solely because of Caitlin Clark. As the standout collegiate female basketball superstar, arguably of all time, I, like millions of others, saw in her a level of play that rivaled the excitement of the men's style of play. We saw in her a level that was so above what we've always thought was nothing special, even in the professional women's game, that for the first time, many of us actually believed that we could become ongoing supportive fans of women's basketball. The mere fact that the viewership record set by Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes women's basketball team would regularly surpass the viewership for both men's college and professional basketball proves this. These viewership stats revealed that for the first time ever, a women's college basketball team became the most talked about and viewed sport in the country. And let's be completely honest about the fact that this Iowa Hawkeyes team's popularity wasn't just focused on Caitlin Clark. I say that because what happened was that because many of us tuned in to watch Caitlin Clark, we then also discovered just how talented and exciting it was to watch the other Iowa players as well. Players like one of my personal favorites, Gabby Marshall, who would regularly come through with the clutch three-pointer when the team needed it most, or make some awesome defensive play at a critical time. As well as how much I enjoyed watching the play of Hannah Sulke, Sydney Affolter, Molly Davis, and Kate Martin. So without reservation, when Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA, I was already primed to be completely open to also acknowledge other WNBA players that demonstrated a greater level of play, just as I did with the Iowa Hawkeyes. Unfortunately, although there were clearly WNBA players that had a talent for the game, the way in which they conducted themselves and the pettiness of their clearly revealed immature envy and jealousy of Caitlin Clark outshined any potential for them to attain new fans, such as the Iowa Hawkeyes players were able to do. The relentless assaults on Caitlin Clark from past WNBA players, media pundits, and current players simply drove home to many of us watching for the first time that this league was nothing more than a bunch of immature, catty women who can't stand another woman having the spotlight. Allow me to play a clip from the popular YouTuber Melody King, who speaks about this very thing and who also has a brilliant take on this WNBA environment. I will leave a link of her video in the description for you to check out, and of course, please don't forget to send her some love by subscribing to her channel.
At the end of the day, the rising tide lifts all boats. And I'm able to get personal about it. How many times did I tell y'all when ESPN signed Pat McAfee, nobody was happier than me? Shannon Sharp there, and he getting his shine. Nobody's happier than me. Ryan Clark got a new deal. Nobody's happier than me. Troy Aikman got a deal. Joe Buck got a deal. Kirk Herbstreit got a deal. Tom Brady got a deal. Tony Romo got his deal. Because they're setting the market. Why do you think I've had the smile on my face all of these months?
Because this is the thing that you don't understand female nature. Female nature is constantly, females we don't work well in teams. Women have to be the number one. You know, if you even watch, my good friend Kevin Samuels would talk about, if you watch it, I think it was Bear Grill or Bear's Island, one of the Survivor. When the women had to work together, it was like, well, no, my idea, and my idea, and my idea. And men just started delegating tasks and working together. There's a natural camaraderie around men. There's a natural teamwork mentality around men. This is why they get things done. This is why men build the world, why they build infrastructure, why they work on the things to build society. Okay? They are able to work together even if they hate each other. For some reason, women are petty, bitter, jealous, catty, nasty to one another. You cannot have another girl be the it girl and outshine you. Women don't work that way for the most part. Is it all women? No. But it is in female nature, inherently in the psychology of women, to want to outdo the next female. They cannot stand another female who's a leader, even though they say it's men that hate women. It's men that keep women back. Women work together. Women always do. What? Have you ever had a female boss? It's one of the worst things ever. The cliques that form at work. Who is it? It's not men forming cliques. It's women. The cattiness, the catty shows, the reality shows, all of that fighting, who is it? Women. Why? And then what do women want to watch? Other women fighting each other. This is what women are drawn to. Why do women fight each other on television and all into this gossip and clicky type of stuff? And why do women watch it and it dominates the ratings? You need to ask yourself why, because that is psychology. That is female nature. And this is why female sports will not elevate. When you have something like tennis, when it's just one person, that works. When it comes to team sports, it just doesn't. And this is the reason why.
From the get-go, these whiny women have lied about Caitlin Clark's accomplishments solely as a means to diminish her exceptional achievements. They have rallied against her popularity by creating a race-baiting, homophobic narrative of her fans that they now have elevated to become the standing opinion as to why she has both been and currently is so popular. They have continually spewed their hateful vitriol, accusing Caitlin Clark fans on all forms of media of being disgusting, homophobic racists. Yet then they whine and cry about being victimized when said fans get angry and respond in the same manner. The undeniable arrogance they portray by their belief that they are completely justified to publicly insult others. But when those same others insult them back, they call it abuse, is demonstrative of the boundless depth of their arrogance. In fact, any rationally thinking person who had even the most minute sense of self respect couldn't help but feel completely humiliated if they ever acted with the same level of immaturity that these certain women have demonstrated over the popularity of Caitlin Clark. It is pathetically sad that instead of possessing the type of athletic maturity that would have embraced the overwhelming popularity that Caitlin Clark has brought to the WNBA, these grown women who brand themselves as quote unquote professionals decided to reveal themselves as being pettier and more immature than the common 8-year-old who is angry because someone else got something that they wanted. As we have all witnessed repeatedly during this season, the obsession that some of these past players, media pundits, and current players have with wanting to destroy Caitlin Clark's popularity has at times been elevated to what even respected analysts call dangerous levels. Most concerning is that despite the clear assault by these certain women on Caitlin Clark, both on social media and on the court, the league permits it to continue as no one from the league office has ever spoken out against it, nor have they intervened to put a stop to it. Even the referees calling the Indiana Fever games have often been accused of turning a blind eye to hard fouls committed on Caitlin Clark, and from what is seen in the review of the play, rightly so. This speaks to the mindset of just how much the WNBA is ruled by these certain women who will always make everything about race and homophobia. It seems evident to many of us that the commissioner of the WNBA, Kathy Engelbert, and many of the players in the league live in fear of these women because, as is clearly noticeable, even though we know that not everyone in the WNBA holds such animosity towards Caitlin Clark as these certain women do, not one other person in the league has made a public comment calling out any of the media or physical assaults Caitlin has endured. Even her college teammate and best friend, Kate Martin, to my knowledge, has not made a public statement acknowledging that Caitlin Clark has been unfairly treated and at times even abused by both players and certain media personalities. With all of this said, it seems clear that until the time comes that this league commissioner finds the courage to take control of this league, and until the time comes that a new generation of women enter the league without the petty immaturity these existing players display, that it is just not worth supporting the league by my continuing to watch. Especially after having watched the latest incident where Dejanay Carrington aggressively gouged Caitlin Clark's eye with her excessively long fingernails in what slow motion replay seemed to reveal to be an intentional act. An act that was forceful enough to give Caitlin Clark a black eye, but which could have also easily blinded her. Take a look at the slow motion replay where you can see that Dejanay Carrington changes the direction of her hand from an open hand blocking motion flowing over Caitlin Clark's head to a claw-shaped hand that changes direction specifically toward Caitlin Clark's face. Also to be noticed is that traditionally, a defensive player's head would naturally turn to view the ball after missing the block, but Dejanay Carrington's face stays focused on Caitlin Clark, and you can see all of her fingers land dead center of Caitlin's eye. And again, remember, her fingers sported excessively long fingernails. So look, I am an avid Caitlin Clark fan. And as with my experience with the Iowa Hawkeyes, I have also become fans of other Fever players. I really enjoy watching Kelsey Mitchell shoot. I enjoy watching Lexi Hall and Aaliyah Boston play. But I also have no desire to watch Caitlin Clark be forced to endure the increasingly dangerous abuse she has had to face whenever she plays. As it seems evident that this type of hostile environment will never be addressed by the league commissioner or even by the game referees, both of whose job it is to protect the players, I find myself wondering just how long it will be before Caitlin Clark suffers a career-ending injury due to the pathetic, childish obsession of these jealous, immature women. And quite frankly, I simply do not care to watch that happen to her, nor do I want to continue supporting a sports league that condones this type of unsportsmanlike environment in any way. What the WNBA needs to realize is that more and more fans like myself are making the same decision for the same reasons. Yet at the end of the day, one has to ask themselves, does the WNBA even care about the overwhelming popularity and financial increase that Caitlin Clark has brought to the league? Because due to what we've seen so far, it doesn't seem like they do. And if their pathetic obsession with Caitlin Clark is indeed greater than their desire to attain the level of popularity and financial benefit that they've always claimed to have deserved, then the league remains a very dangerous place for Caitlin Clark. So those are my thoughts. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments. And while you do that, please don't forget to punch that like button, share the video with others, and make sure to hit that notification bell so you'll never miss a new video. I would greatly appreciate it if you would also hit that subscribe button, as we all know how important that is for a channel to grow. For those of you who have already subscribed, once again, I would just like to say thank you very much. I really appreciate the support. So as always, I'd just like to say God bless you, and thanks so much for taking the time to listen. Until next time.